Hey everybody. So, hello. It's Yasmin here with the full moon update for December 12, which is today, which is the must be the last full moon of the year, which is incredible. It's the super full moon in Gemini. And I was just talking to a girlfriend of mine who loves a little bit of full moon stuff. And she was saying, it's quite a good full moon, isn't it? And I was like, I think so. So should we have a look and see if this is a good full moon? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an outline of what this full moon is all about. And I'm actually going to do a chant. Normally I actually do all my chanting with my mainly Moonology members. We do full moon chanting every full moon. We get together on Zoom. We'll be getting together on Zoom after I've finished here. But I thought because it's the last full moon of the year, I just want to give you the one chant that will always work for everything. It's like the all-purpose chant. Yeah, so I will do that as well. Okay, so keywords for this lunation. See the bigger picture. So that immediately tells us that there's either Jupiter or Sagittarius energy going on, and in this case it's Sagittarius because it's the full moon in Gemini, which is when the sun is in Sagittarius. Have a good flirt. Got anyone you want to have a little flirt with? Lovely one. End an argument. End an argument. And start healing. So let's just talk about that for a second. Healing, so important. Because I think one thing that's going on in the world today, in my very humble opinion, is that we've all started to think about our mental health so much that we can get stuck in it. And I feel like sometimes dealing with our mental health issues needs to be a case of saying, okay, that was shit, excuse my language, that was crap, excuse my language, but I am now ready to move on and start healing. And it does involve perhaps giving up on a dream. It can involve facing facts at long last. But I've always felt really strongly it is a case of deciding to heal at some point, especially if what you've been through has been extremely difficult. So having a look, the the full moon will take place tonight at 11:14 p.m. London time, tomorrow morning 10:14 a.m. Sydney time, and then tonight 3:14 p.m. LA time and 6:14 p.m. New York time. So it's the last super full moon of the year and the last full moon of the year. So what are you going to do with it? It's in the sign of Gemini, which is perfect because it allows us to release and let go of any negative thoughts that might otherwise come with us into 2026. And that is the last thing we want, to take anything difficult from this year into the next. So obviously, we all know that the end of the year is like a man-made thing. You know, like we've just counted out how long it takes to go around the sun, quite inaccurately apparently, because we have to adjust for leap years and so on. But, you know, we've decided that this many days of sunset and sunrise are, or sunrise and sunset, it makes what we call a year and so on. So it's a man-made thing that it's going to be the end of 2025 and the start of 2026. On the other hand, you could argue that, okay, it is man-made, but we all pay attention to it, even though there are still other parts of the world where people use different calendars, and indeed there are even parts of the world where they still use a lunar calendar instead of a solar calendar. But regardless of which calendar or how man-made it is, the fact is there is this collective energy which builds at this time of the year, especially, you know, in places like the States where there are, you know, hundreds of millions of people. For example, here we've got, I don't know how many people we've got in the UK, 60, 70 million people. Australia, I don't know what the latest count is, 25, 30 million people. And everybody, at least in these places, because there are still places which do celebrate different New Years, as you know, but at least in these places, there is a collective energy building that this is the end of the year and the start of the new year you know, ergo is a chance to start again. And if you know anything about moonology, this is my beautiful moonology diary from this year. Let me show you the one for next year. If you know anything about moonology, you know that in astrology and moonology, what we do is we release at the full moon. So we set intentions at the new moon and we release at the full moon. And because it's the last full moon of the year, then we can actually look at releasing, you know, everything from the year. So, oh, there you go. I literally just said what I wrote. Yes, of course, years are man-made, so to speak. They're just our way of understanding the passage of time. However, as much as they're not real or organic, they're in the collective consciousness. Anyone would think I wrote this and do mean something. It's not the new year yet, and you may or may not be someone who likes to make New Year's resolutions. I know the jury's out on that for a lot of people. But use this full moon in Gemini to clear your head of anything you know you need to release for your own well-being and, there are those words again, mental health. Maybe it's a fear, a regret, shame over something, an upset, or something else. Just try as much as you can to face up to what it is and know that you can create your own reality once you rid yourself of toxic thoughts. Communication is strongly highlighted at this full moon, so if you need to talk things through with someone in the weeks ahead, don't hesitate. Note that this full moon is also one of those times when there's a lot of healing in the air. So that means that the planetary Chiron is being triggered. If you're suffering mentally or physically, it's a good time to seek professional help, be it from a mainstream or alternative health practitioner. Talking therapy could be particularly useful right now. It's also a great time to work on adopting a more positive mindset. And if you have the diary, then I've given you an exercise, which you get an exercise every week. And every month, I should say, or actually every fortnight, because every new moon and every full moon, which are 2 weeks apart. So there's an exercise to do to help you close off the year, and also information for you about where the full moon is taking place in your chart based on your rising sign. And then there's an all big explanation of that for you earlier on. And then there's the full moon forgiveness section, which is basically designed to help you make the absolute most of the full moon. There are 3 journal prompts that you can use, and you can write them in here, or you can write them out on a separate piece of paper if you've got too much forgiving to do. But it's really, really worth doing it. And, you know, this is the Moonology Diary. It's a Sunday Times best-selling product, and let me take an opportunity to tell you about the one for next year. It's a beautiful pinky purple cover, and in it you get space for all your new moon intentions every month, your full moon forgiveness list. Like I said, you've got journal prompts, you've got space to write, you've got monthly overviews about the astrology. They sell out every year. It's selling like hotcakes. So if you would like to grab your copy, the other thing is you will get access to my free, in inverted commas, Kickstart 2026 workshop, when I'm going to talk about all the astrology of the year ahead. And that comes when you buy the diary and register it at moonologydiary.com. moonologydiary.com. Can't be simpler than that. Or if you just want to get a message so you remember later, just put 2026 power in the comments, 2026 power, and you will get a link which you can click later on, which will take you to the page where if you buy the diary from there and you register it on that page, or you've already bought it but you haven't registered it, just scroll to the end and you'll get access to the Kickstart workshop. And the workshop will basically help you start the year, and then the diary will help you stay on track. All right, so what I wanted to do was, as I said, I normally reserve my chanting for my members, you know, just because it's a beautiful thing to do, chanting at full moon, and we always do at least 3 full moon chants, and it's just a really beautiful way to allow the quite frenetic full moon energy to kind of just go through your body. Chanting just like eases the flow of everything. But I thought, since it's the last full moon of the year, I will do my all-purpose Om Namo Narayani chant, which is a chant that I learned in India about, well, 20 years ago this year. I've been going to that ashram in India now for 20 years. I can't believe it. And yeah, so it's Om Namo Narayani, which means I surrender to the divine, or I surrender to the divine mother, more specifically. And a form of it is chanted all over India. A lot of people, a lot of the chanting will be Om Namo Narayana, which is sort of the masculine version of I surrender to the divine in the masculine form, but we do Om Namo Narayani just because I feel very strongly connected to the goddess. So, are you ready? Om Namo Narayani. We're going to chant it 3 times. And as you do, I want you to think about anything in your life that you are ready just to hand over to the divine and say, you know what? I tried everything. Divine, you please take care of this. All right? Here we go. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. And just feel the energy of the vibrations of the mantra in your body. And just have a moment of gratitude for someone or something you are really grateful for. Right, so there we are, the last full moon of the year. Hope it's a good one for you if you're in my Mainly Moonology membership. I will see you in about, let's see, about 15 minutes, 14 minutes. And yep, if you don't have the diary yet and you want to come to the Kickstart workshop, which you get for free, plus you get a whole lot of other goodies as well, freebies, go to moonologydiary.com or just put Power 2026 in the comments because I want to help you have a superpowered 2026. All right, lots of love, guys.